this right from reading it the first time, but I like the way that you started from the end, and you worked your way back through your life. I thought that was pretty good, and a challenge also, because you dictated your future, you predicted your future, which was really good.
Yeah.
So you did a great job.
Thank you.
It was really
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes.
I loved the way that you basically wrote your way back to San Antonio.
That was not planned, I guarantee you.
You didn't plan it.
Subconsciously,
but your heart
I did. Yeah.
Your heart did. And I think it was very important that you went home. I know it's not your real home, but you went.
Home is where the heart is, and I think I mentioned that in the beginning. And home is where the heart is, and my heart was the only constant love in my life was my family. So I think it only made sense for me to go back. You know, after it's been exactly a year since this book, Zodiac Lovers, I remember, has been published from Archway Publishing to the day almost. And once it was published, I think not long after, I decided to quit my job in retail and pack up and move back and be with family, because I felt that was what was important. And you know, it's again, it was, I think, you know, 33 years, I'm 37 now, so 33 years old I think was when I started writing this book, right at about. And I think I'd always searched for love, but subconsciously I was really looking for myself, so I went back home.
And that's important.
Yeah.
Well, actually, is everything in this book true?
I can't tell you, but I will tell you that 97 to 98% of it is true. I won't tell you what's not, that 2% that isn't true. But it, you know, I'm very out there with my emotions. I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know, like I said, you know, life is about learning, and I feel comfortable learning through people and also allowing others to learn through me. So I shared my mistakes and my journey, and 97% of it is true. Obviously, all the names have been falsified. Dates have been changed to a certain extent. Cities have been changed to a certain extent, because I did need to keep private the identity of certain people that I discuss in the book. Some of them who are here tonight, but none of the main characters, but some of them are here tonight. You know, and I think it's so no, almost everything is true, and I think, you know, I will say that the emotions are all true. I didn't lie about any of the emotions as far as what I felt independently towards myself or towards my country or towards my family or towards any of the men that I discuss in the book. That was all real. And I still mourn the loss of a 5-year relationship that I had with a man that I couldn't make work. So all of that is true. But there is about 2% of the book that isn't true, and I won't tell you what part that is. You can figure that out on your own. Leave it up to the mind.
I would say this book is very hot. But I want to know, like, how do you feel about opening up with your intimacy in this book? Like, how do you feel about that? Everybody going to be reading this book and thinking about you.
You know, when I first wrote, and the first couple of copies, the first few manuscripts that I went through, I was a little bit more reserved. Coincidentally, and I hate sharing this story, but it's the truth, my sister insisted that I read what is it called? 50 Shades of Grey. And she mailed me it said 3 volumes. You know, she mailed it to me, and I said, okay, I'll read it. And I read the first book, and I literally flipped through pages at a time. And you know, I finished it. I never finished the other 2. I finished the first one, and I had not sent the manuscript to the publishing company yet. And I thought to myself, I said, okay, if this is this detailed and people are loving it so much, then what does that tell you, JJ? You know, so go back and add a little detail. And I added very little. I really do not, you know, but the 3 or 4 scenes that I do, I think it's very intimate and very detailed. But I try to do it tastefully. And I don't mind. You know, my mom read the book, and she had difficulty getting through some of the pages, and you know, she's like, I can't believe you put all this out there. And this and that. And I told her, I said, how many rated R movies have we seen together? You know, how many times have we gone to the movies and sat down and watched people get naked on the screen and this and that? I said, so what? You know, this is your daughter writing it, but it's not like it's foreign to humanity. It's something that we all go through and something that we all do and experience, and I just chose to share it with everyone.
Good for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I have to say that I'm really happy that I knew you first and then read the book. Okay, I was scared. I told you that I was a little bit scared of reading the book because I didn't want to be disappointed.
Okay.
Okay.
So you're not
because
disappointed.
No, because I had such, I really have always kind of held you up on a pedestal.
Thank you.
And deservedly. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for hiring me.
I appreciate it.
I just, in a way, part of me didn't want to know that much about you. I liked the mystery of it.
Sorry.
But then, as I read it, the way you wrote it was so kind of almost poetic and so relatable.
Thank you.
And your descriptions, your wording is just so clear.
Thank you.
Very clear.
Glad.
It's almost, go on. No, it was very clear, and I wasn't disappointed.
Thank you.
It was very, what I would say, clean.
Thank you.
Okay.
I tried my best.
Right. But yet, you did have that intimate element that we all have, that we've all had, and always, I don't know if I would ever have the nerve to share what you shared. And yet we all like to.
I think
we all would like to.
Life is. I have a friend that always tells me it's a beautiful thing, and I'm like, yep, it's a beautiful thing. Whether it's ugly or not to someone else, life is a beautiful thing. And as I said there's no such thing as a coincidence. If you believe in a coincidence, I think you're a fool, because everything in life happens for a reason. And there's many people in the audience right now, aside from my Bloomingdale's family and my ex-associates. There's a handful of people in here right now, and I'm not going to look at you, that have significantly helped. I won't say alter, but advance my life in ways that I probably never would have imagined. And there are very little things that I discuss in the book, like, a dinner out with friends turns into me moving to Hollywood, and me moving to Hollywood turns into me falling in love with another man, and me just doing so many things. So I think everything in life happens for a reason, and as difficult as the breakup with the goat, who I discuss, and if you haven't read the book, everyone in the book has a zodiac name, because that's how I describe them. I don't give them their actual names. I describe them by their zodiac sign. So the goat, who is a Capricorn, as difficult as that breakup was, it really allowed me to go back to the person that I used to be before him. And that was the JJ who liked to be creative and write and inspire and be emotional and share her thoughts and feelings, something that I truly did not do with a man that I lived with for 5 years. So
yeah, you know what, Moshkin? Even though you did call everybody by their zodiac name, you didn't really go into.
I didn't.
Well, he's a goat and he does this and this,
yeah,
and has that kind of personality, which would have been the kind of a cliche thing that you might think, but it was just really, it was almost like an endearing.
It was.
The names were very endearing.
Yeah,
like
they were.
The goat, even though I wanted to punch him out.
Mm-hmm. I still loved him. I still do. I still think about him, even though I hate him. Yes.
So,
Jason.
First off, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
doing what probably 99.9% of us think about doing every day.
Thank you.
You actually had the courage to actually.
Thank you.
Pen to paper and then paper to a book.
Thank you.
So I guess my simple question is why? Why go through all that, put it out there, be vulnerable, and was it therapy? Was it just why?
I think to a certain extent, I do mention it was very therapeutic, but I liked writing as a child, you know, and you know, through my teenage years and then right into my early 20s, I enjoyed writing. I would write for myself. I would write poetry for myself, and you know, and there was that, again, I keep going back to it because it was a very significant time period in my life, that 5-year interval where I was with this goat, and I stopped. And after him, I decided to go back to it. And I think, you know, when I look at it now, it might have been therapeutic, but right now, standing here, I could tell you that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I truly don't want to do anything else other than write. You know, I'm working on a second book. It's fictional. It's not the continuation of Zodiac Lovers yet, but I love writing. I mean, I have, you know, I walk around with a paper and pen. I walk around with my iPhone every day, just like jotting notes and writing stuff down because I have so many things going through my head. So I enjoy it, and you know, hopefully it can advance into a successful career. It's my first publication, and you know, it's been good to me so far, so I hope that it advances. I did it for the love that I have to the creativity.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, try now.
It took me one night to read your book. Okay, I just couldn't put it down, and after I read it, I just had this overwhelming feeling of hugging you. But you were gone.
But I was nowhere around to be hugged.
Because you always brought a lot of laughter to all of us. And I was like, oh my God, I wish I knew all of this. I could have, you know, so I want to hug you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I tried to, you know, again, I mentioned I don't, you know, and I don't know if it's a bad trait or a good trait, but I don't like to overwhelm people with my own sadness or my own troubles. Because I think they're mine and I need to deal with them. I don't need to let anyone else take care of them. So I always try to put on a happy face. Yes.
Do you think at this point, you said several times that you felt you kind of like learned your lesson.
I still haven't learned my lesson.
Okay. Do you think you would be able to resist the charms of another goat?
I think I've learned to that extent. Yes, I've learned to that extent. Yeah, and no, to that extent I have learned. Yes, to answer your question, and I think one of the other, again, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but just as quickly as I fall in love, I fall out of love, and it's very sad when you can let go of certain feelings that fast. But I think I've learned my lesson to a certain extent. Yeah, I'm okay being on my own right now.
That's the important thing.
You're Gemini.
Yeah, I'm a Gemini. Questions? Anyone else? Yes?
So, what 5 years of that?
No, I didn't. So the book, well, let me explain for those of you that haven't read it completely. The book is basically split into 3 parts, 3 sections. One, my life in Iran and my childhood. Then there's the teenage years, kind of growing up in the U.S. and then falling in love. And then the last portion of the book is I think the last 3 chapters are dedicated to one specific man. So the 5-year span is about what I truly consider my first serious relationship. There's a gentleman that I met here in Los Angeles and I had a 5-year relationship with, and you know, I thought he was the end-all be-all, and it turned out to be absolutely nothing. But you know, I think, again, when I look back at it, 5 years to me was a long time, and it still is, because it's 5 years of my life. So that's the goat. He was a Capricorn. I refer to him as the goat in the book. It's those 5 years that I refer to. And I think he, you know, it was after my breakup with that gentleman that I decided to finally write the book.
Yes, and also congratulate you. It sounds
Thank you.
Great. And I'm looking forward
Thank you.
to
You can make a movie out of it if you want.
It would make a great movie.
There's a lot of talent in the audience. So Reggie has written a book. Babak is a director. Mr. Rami Nyami is a film director. There's a lot of talent sitting around in the room. So I appreciate it. Anyone else? Questions?
Tell us about your next book. Right.
The next book is completely fictional. And it's set in late 1940s New York, 1947 to be exact, and it's the story of a man and a woman who meet in New York. They fall in love in New York, and as time progresses realize that they had crossed paths as children, and they begin to face obstacles that they need to overcome. And I have obsessions with many things. One of them is New York. The other one is Paris and also Egypt. So I reference these 3 places in the book, and I build these characters. I'm about a third way into the story, but it's completely fictional. So that's what I'm working on next. Yes. Anyone else? Last chance?
It's never a last chance for us.
Never.
Yeah.
I don't know. Are you better at writing more romance than this fictional drama? Romance?
Drama. I hate drama. I don't like drama. But that's all about life.
You know, one thing that I did notice too is that at different times during the course of, I'm a little past half reading it, and I noticed at certain periods more than others, you would talk about, what God has in store for you, or what, and some more than others. I noticed that. And
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was extremely surprised to realize how many times I used the word God in this book. And I was born into a Muslim family. I'm not a practicing Muslim. I by no means consider myself religious, but I believe in God and a higher being. And I was very amazed as to how many times I used the word God in the book, because I don't remember the number right now off the top of my head, but I did go back and check my word count, and it was a very significant number.
And I did notice that you also did say that you were Muslim too, and then I thought that was. I thought that was kind, to say you're Muslim and then talk about God, because
Muslims believe in God.
Do they?
Yes, we call him Allah.
They call him Allah.
Yes, we call him Allah.
You don't call him God though.
We say Allah, but we believe in him. It's the same.
Not to me.
I have unfortunately, I relate Islam to the Islamic Revolution, which I also relate to the force behind my family's escape and life into exile. So unfortunately, the religion that I was born into is a religion that I have subconsciously look upon negatively for different reasons, even though I try very hard to be very positive towards it. But maybe one day I'll overcome that obstacle. So for right now, I'm a non-practicing Muslim, but I do believe in Allah or God. Yes. Questions? Anyone? Couple of things, if you don't have any more questions. There are copies of Zodiac Lovers available for sale towards the back
or at the front.
or in the front. I will be available for a short while to sign any copies that you have. I also highly recommend, if you've never shopped the Book Soup, please just browse around. I mean, it's an amazing place, and they have such great books and things and gadgets and just all sorts of little knickknacks that you can find here, and it's an absolute pleasure being here. It's an honor, and I mentioned to someone, I said I think I'm one of the few Iranians that have had book readings here, and I truly appreciate all of you coming out for the evening and spending your time with me, and I hope you enjoyed it.
We did.
There's some wine left in the back as well.